invocation and the playing of our national anthem. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us here in June. We thank you for all the many blessings that we continue to receive each and every day. We ask you to watch over our drivers, their crews, our track officials and track workers, and all of our wonderful fans here at Midvale Speedway tonight. We ask you to have a safe race on the racetrack and let everybody be safe going home. We ask you this in your Son's name. Amen. Presenting tonight's colors, Gabe Pringle and Vanessa McCurry. So moving in to the McIntosh Oil Company late models for heat race number 1. 8-lap heat race number 1 starting on the pole. The 88 is Dennis Wood from Barberton, Ohio. Starting on the outside, the 25 is Chris Grubbs from Alliance, Ohio. G&H Construction, UFO Malkett Racing Engines, the sponsors on Grubbs. The number 0, George Riddle from Canton, Ohio, in the Riddle Trucking sponsored 0. The number 48 is the Mountain State Missile, Jonathan Ritter from Wharton, West Virginia, in the DNC Construction, Ken's Auto Service Center sponsored 48. And your fastest qualifier in the number 17, also your point leader from Denison, Ohio, in the Landstar Recruiting Agent Factory Street Pub and Grill sponsored 17, Bob Snyder Jr. 8-lap heat race number 1 for the McIntosh Oil Company late models. Week number 7 of the 2021 racing season here at Midvale Speedway, already creeping in, getting close to mid-season as we sweep through June. Of course, tonight's event's brought to you by the Quaker Digital Academy. We appreciate their continued sponsorship and partnership at Midvale Speedway. 8-lap heat race number 1 is green. Wood, your race leader, Riddle in second, way up the racetrack. Snyder looking for second on the bottom lane. Riddle and Snyder side by side. George Riddle way up the racetrack, going to drop all the way back to the 4th spot. Snyder up to second. Here comes Snyder to the inside of Wood. Bob Snyder Jr. to the inside of Dennis Wood for the race lead. Ritter in third. George Riddle going to pull pit side. Bob Snyder Jr. to the race lead. Jonathan Ritter second. Dennis Wood third. Chris Grubbs fourth. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go. White flag for Bob Snyder Jr. Jonathan Ritter right there in that second spot. Still battling for third, Dennis Wood, Chris Grubbs. Final time into turn number 3. Off a 4-year winner, Bob Snyder Jr. Ritter finishes second, Wood third, and Grubbs in 4th. Race number 1 winner. In the Landstar Recruiting Agent, Factory Street Pub and Grill, Alexis Builders, Yoder's Plumbing, My Water Doctor, Guest Motors, Weathermakers Heating and Cooling, Smith's Auto Sales, Viameter Auto Repair and FLF Race Cars, sponsored number 17. Put your hands together for Bob Snyder Jr. So moving into heat race number 2, starting on the pole, the 69 is Bob the Animal Eichel. Stone Creek, Ohio driver starts on the pole. The number 16 is Jason Ripple from Dover, Ohio, in the Lucky Tree Service sponsored machine. The 66 is John Sanquest Sr. from Alliance, Ohio. Duffy's Auto Body, Hova Racing Equipment, the sponsors on the 66. The 77 is Bear Swartz. In the Swartz Trucking, Hartzler's Quality Housing, McInturf Realty sponsored 77. The number 10 is Mayo Spence from Perry, Ohio. In the Perkins Hardwoods, Motors by Matthews sponsored number 10. And in the Animal Racing sponsored 169 is Bobby DeVore II. Field coming into Chief Starter Terry Coletti's green flag. 8-lap heat race number 2 for the late models is green. Bear Swartz having issues in the 77. Ripple way up the racetrack, going to give up second and third to Sangquest and Mayo Spence. Spence going to go to the outside of Sangquest. Here comes Bear Swartz in the 77. Mayo Spence on the outside, going to move up to the outside of Bob the Animal Eichel. Mayo Spence will take the race lead in the number 10. And the 77 of Bear Swartz spins off of turn number 2. Green flag in the air. Contact between the Animal and Mayo Spence in turn 1, and caution on the speedway. DeVore in row 2, Ripple and Swartz in row 3, green back in the air. Mayo Spence out to the race lead. The Animal trying to hang on to second. Sangquest all over the back of that 69. Here comes the 169 of Bobby DeVore II. '66 of John Sangquest, frustrated and pulls pit side. Mayo Spence, your race leader. Animal second, Ripple third, DeVore in fourth, Swartz in fifth. White flag for Mayo Spence. Checkered flag for Mayo Spence. Your winner from Perry, Ohio in the Perkins Hardwoods, Motors by Matthews, Junction Auto Family, Wheels Restoration, Slesser Trucking sponsored number 10. Put your hands together for Mayo Spence. So moving into the Vandy Auto Repair Modifieds for heat race number 1. Start 7 is Braden Swaney, New Philadelphia, Ohio, Quaker Drive, 5-Barrel Bullet Brewery, sponsored 57. Your point leader in the 55 is the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. Leesville, Ohio, driver in the Scio Car Wash, Vaughn's Pub and Grill, sponsored 55. The 09 is Philip Cox. From Sherridsville, Ohio, in the New Philly Barbell, Your Pizza Shop, sponsored 09. At 38 is Kevin McClintock. From Dover, Ohio, in the Van Meters Auto, Hans Place, Pizza by Penzo's in New Philly, sponsored 38. The 49 is Bob Page from Yorksville, Ohio, in the Heron Heating and Cooling Ride. And first-time fast qualifier for the 66 and the Magic Hobby 66, Lewis McGrath. Green flag, 8-lap, heat race number 1. Rooster way up the racetrack. Swaney going to have the race lead on the bottom. Into turn 3, Rooster going to battle back in the high lane. Slides up just a little bit. Braden Swaney, your race leader. Bailey gets down in front of Philip Cox. Cox going to slide up and get into McClintock. Now the 49 of Page alongside McClintock. Philip Cox up to second, all over the back of the 57 of Braden Swaney. Bob Page to the inside of Brandon Bailey for third. Brandon Bailey making that high lane work on the outside of Bob Page. White flag for Braden Swaney. Off turn number 4. Checker flag, Braden Swaney, Philip Cox second, Bob Page in third, Kevin McClintock fourth. Ohio in the Quaker drive-thru, 5-Barrel Bullet Brewery, Yorksville Eagles, and Combat Warrior Outdoors. Sponsored number 57, put your hands together for Braden Swaney. Moving into heat race number 2, the Van Meter Auto Repair Modifieds, the X09 is Wes Ennis. They'll start on the pole from Strasburg, Ohio, in the Ennis Hauling Vortex Vinyl sponsored X09. Last week's feature winner, the 15 of Kyle Finlayson. He'll start on the outside. Finlayson Towing, Finlayson Trucking. Sponsors on the 15 from Sandyville, Ohio. The 54 is Big Mac, Doug McMillan. New Philadelphia, Ohio driver in the J-Mac Auto Detailing, Doug Moore Sales and Leasing at Chuck Nicholson, sponsored number 54. The 24 is Nick Grubbs from Canton, Ohio, in the Valley View Forestry UFO, sponsored 24. The number 28 is Brandon France, picked up a feature win a couple weeks ago. France Trucking, Ram Concrete. And the 45 is Cody Stahl, green flag, 8-lap heat race number 2. Green flag in hand. Ennis and Finlayson. Ennis will lead lap number 1, Finlayson second, then Grubbs in third. Grubbs way up the racetrack, almost loses it. Here comes McMillan for third. Wes Ennis, Kyle Finlayson, Doug McMillan, Brandon France. Problems for France. He got up the racetrack. Here comes Nick Grubbs for the 4th spot. White flag for Wes Ennis. Checker flag for Wes Ennis, Kyle Finlayson, Doug McMillan, and Nick Grubbs. From Strasburg, Ohio, the NS Hauling Vortex Vinyl J&S Mowing. Sponsored X09. Put your hands together for Wes Emmis. So the 71 is Vanessa McCreary. She'll start on the pole from Yorksville, Ohio, in the M&D Designs DeVore's Auto Repair sponsored 71. The 13 is Kenny Feaster Jr. Barnhill, Ohio driver in the Sibley Mart Sunoco Race Fuel sponsored 13. The 69 is Bob Snyder Jr. in the Snyder Fabricating Animal Racing sponsored 169. And the 75 is Bobby DeVore II. In the DeVore's Auto Repair Rent-to-Own Quaker Drive-Thru, sponsored 75. 8-lap heat race number 3 for the modifieds. Ready to go, Green, McCreary, and Feaster Jr. McCreary gets up off of the bottom. That opens up that bottom lane for Snyder, and now contact between Feaster and DeVore behind, and caution on the speedway. Getting ready to go back to green. McCreary and Feaster. Vanessa McCreary will continue to lead. Feaster in second, still there in that outside lane. Vanessa McCreary almost loses it down the back straightaway. Good save by Vanessa. Is Kenny Feaster Jr. going to take the race lead? Bob Snyder Jr. up to the second spot. Bobby DeVore up to third. Right flag for Kenny Feaster Jr. Checkered flag, Kenny Feaster Jr., Bob Snyder Jr., Bobby DeVore II, and Vanessa McCreary. Fuels, Lee's Famous Recipe, South Philly Pizza, Peebles Racing, and Last Stop Tackle Shop, sponsored number 13. Put your hands together for Kenny Feaster Jr. In the Bucky Mowing Compact, starting on the pole, the 63 is Curtis Finlayson. The 36 is Dunwoody Rich Dunlap. The 47 is Don Rufner Jr. The 52 is Jeremy Salinger. The 79 is Phil Button, and your fastest qualifier, the 007 of DR3. Green flag in the air, 8-lap heat race, number 1. Phil Button way up the racetrack in the 79. He's going to drop to the back of the pack. Jamie Leslie, the race leader. Rich Dunlap knocking on the door for second as he's to the inside of Curtis Finlayson. Dunlap up to second. Here comes Rufner Jr. and Rufner the third to the inside of Finlayson. Rufner Jr. up to third. DR3 looking for that fourth spot. He'll take it. Finlayson back to fifth. Salinger sixth. And Phil Button. Halfway home, 4 and 4 to go for Jamie Leslie. Jamie Leslie, Rich Dunlap, Don Rufner Jr., now DR3, going to go to the outside of Dad for spot number 3. White flag for Jamie Leslie, Rich Dunlap, and the battle of the Rufner family for third. Checkered flag for the 64 of Jamie Leslie. And pulling to the line, heat race number 1 winner. From New Philadelphia, Ohio, the Coronizers, Small Engine Repair and Service, Patty Bandela Dental, Medley Mowing, Leslie's Welding and Fab, Joe's Sideshow Garage, Schruffler Tuning, and Canton Auto Salvage. 4. Put your hands up. Jamie Leslie. So starting on the pole, the number 5 rookie driver Tabby Stuber pulling double duty tonight. Bowerston, Ohio driver in the My Water Doctor Bucky Mowing sponsor number 5. The 82 is Ronald Button from Strasburg, Ohio. The 44 tonight is Dan Bucky subbing for Mike Stuber. Get well wishes to Mike Stuber, hearing he's under the weather. The My Water Doctor Keith Carr sponsored 44. On the outside is Jonathan Heidi in the 00. In the Haas's Marine sponsored 00. The 78P is Josh Peebles. The 45 is Timmy Kalp. Getting ready to go green. Also the 57 of the Sizzler, Blaze Bacon. Is Tabby Stuber going to have the race lead on the bottom. Ronald Button back to second. Here comes Bucky for third. Actually, Bucky for second. To the inside of Button. Tabby Stuber, your race leader. She'll lead lap number 1. And Blaze Bacon going to spin out the 82 of Ronald Button in turn number 4. The Sizzler, John Heidi and Kalp getting ready to go back to green. 1 lap complete. Dan Bucky on the outside trying to get around Tabby Stuber. Here comes Josh Peebles, 3-car battle for the race lead. Button locks up the brakes. That gets Heidi way up the racetrack. Relay battle for that race lead as Peebles going to split the middle. Tabby Stuber slides up a little bit, opening up that bottom. Now she'll close the door. Dan Bucky still out there. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go. Tabby Stuber still hanging on. Dan Bucky trying to take that race lead away from Stuber. He'll have it at the line. Dan Bucky, your race leader. Josh Peeble is going to take over the second spot from Tabby Stuber. 1 lap to go. Peeble's trying to get around the 44 of Bucky. Here comes Josh Peebles taking a look to the inside, backed out of it. Dan Bucky going to close the door. Checkered flag, Dan Bucky your winner. Josh Peebles will finish second. Tabby Stuber third. Ronald Bunton in fourth. And Timmy Kalp in fifth. Heat race number 2 winner. In the My Water Doctor, Keys Cars, Romar Performance Motorsports, Mid-Vid Racing Videos, and Bucky Mowing. Sponsor number 44. Put your hands together for Dangerous Dan Bucky. The 85. The 0 tonight is Justin Renneker subbing for Alan Clark. The 23 is Zach Marshall. The 69, first time in a compact, Nolan Caldwell pulling double duty tonight. And the 19 is Bryant McCoy. 8-lap heat race number 3 is green. So Jonathan Weber, problems off of turn number 2. He's in the infield. 0 of Justin Renneker. Here comes the 23 of Brenton Irwin. Irwin up to second. Maurer back to third. Zach Marshall in fourth. Then the 19 of McCoy and the 69 of Caldwell. Brenton Irwin all over the back of the 0 of Justin Renneker. 6 laps on the board. Irwin cutting the grass, trying to get under Renneker. White flag for Renneker. Justin Renneker will win heat race number 3. Brenton Irwin second. Braden Maurer third, Zach Marshall fourth, Bryant McCoy rounding out the top 5. In the Mid-Vid Racing videos, Ross Mountain Barbecue, Dirty Thumb Auto, Dan Miller Trucking, ACDC Racing, and Renneker Racing sponsored number 0. Put your hands together for Justin Renneker. Dylan Litton in the 127 will start on the pole in heat race number 4 from Canton, Ohio, in the Rosenberry Painting sponsored 127. The number 7 is Trevor King. The number 5 is Justin Courtney. The 39 is Dan Sharpless, and the 80 is Candy Button. In compacts is green. Wendling 5 will take over the race lead. Wendling down the back straightaway, subbing for Justin Courtney tonight. And he's out front. Trevor King in second. Here comes Sharpless on the outside. Dan Sharpless in the 3rd groove. 4th groove. Almost getting into the wall. Complete, 7 to go. Green flag back in the air. Scott Wendling, Dan Sharpless. The 39 of Dan Sharpless leaking fuel sent pit side. Scott Wendling, still your race leader. Candy Bunton up to the 2nd spot now. Dylan Litton is running 3rd. Trevor King 4th. Tough break for Dan Sharpless. 2 laps to go for Wendling. White flag for Scott Wendling. Checkered flag for Scott Wendling. Candy Button will finish 2nd. And finishing 3rd, Dylan Litton and Trevor King. Subbing for Justin Courtney tonight in the Canton Auto Salvage. Shooters Bar and Billiards, Courtney Painting, and Schreffler Tuning, sponsored number 5. Put your hands together for Scott Wendling. Moving into the Snap-on Tools by Doug Pohl Street Stock. Starting on the pole, the 7 is Gabe Pringle. New Philadelphia, Ohio driver in the Shook Brothers 99.9 WTUZ Big Z Sports, sponsored number 7. The 54, the Mineral City Missile, Chase Berkey in the Mad Dog's House and Catering, Yoder Drilling and Geothermal, sponsored 54. The number 3 is Kyle Grove from Yorksville, Ohio in the El Poblito Mexican Cuisine, Car Time Express, sponsored number 3. The 75 of Bob Passwater Sr. in the Sanctuary Church of God Freedom Auto Finance, sponsor 75. And your fastest qualifier in the number 88 from Barberton, Ohio in the Gillen Body Shop Steve's Auto Service sponsored machine is Dennis Wood. 8-lap heat race for the Street Stocks. Berkey on the high side had the lead going into turn number 1. Pringle has it off at turn number 2. Kyle Grove looking to go 3 wide, thought better of it. Pringle on the bottom will lead lap number 1. Grove up to second. Third, Berkey sideways, saved it. Good save, Chase Berkey. Kyle Grove going to go to the outside lane, going to slide through turn 2. Gabe Pringle continuing to lead. Dennis Wood starting to look to that outside lane on Kyle Grove for second. Halfway home, 4 and 4 to go. White flag for Gabe Pringle in the 7. Kyle Grove right there on the back bumper. Sideways off of turn number 2. Dennis Wood unable to get to that outside lane. Checkered flag, Gabe Pringle. Kyle Grove will finish second. Dennis Wood in third. Bob Passwater Sr. in fourth. And Chase Berkey in 5th. In the Shook Brothers 99.9 WTUZ Big Z Sports, Knack Tuning, Gillen Body Shop, McClintock Lawn and Landscaping, Racer 8, and Gino's Garage, sponsored number 7. From New Philadelphia, Ohio, put your hands together for Gabriel Pringle. The 74 is Bob Passwaters Jr. The number 28 is Josh Feaster. They'll start on the front row. The 99 is Jason Gruhl. The 22 is Kylie Wood. The 64 is Ian Porco. And last week's feature winner, the 58, the Red Rocket, Zach Koger. 8-lap heat race number 2 is green. Feaster going to have the advantage heading into the corner. Passwater is going to battle back. He'll have the race lead off of turn number 2. Through 3 and 4, Feaster hanging there in that outside lane. Passwater is going to at number 1. Here comes Jason Gruhl. Gruhl trying to get to the inside of Feaster for second. Gruhl will get there. Move Jason Gruhl to second. Feaster trying to get to the bottom. Here comes Kylie Wood sticking her nose in there. She'll get to the door of Feaster. And she'll take over the 3rd spot. Ian Porco will take over the 4th spot. Feaster dropping in that outside lane. Has the room to get to the bottom now. Passwater's your race leader. Jason Gruhl in second. Jason Gruhl looking to that high side. Here comes Kylie Wood sticking her underneath. Pass Waters gets loose off of 4. Here comes Jason Gruhl to the outside. Jason Gruhl, Bob Pass Waters Jr. side by side for the race lead. Jason Gruhl on the high side. Pass Waters, Gruhl, and Kylie Wood. Checkered flag, Bob Pass Waters Jr. Kylie Wood will finish second. Jason Gruhl third. The 58 of from Waynesburg, Ohio, in the Sanctuary Church of God, Freedom Auto Finance in the Glass House, sponsored number 74. Put your hands together for Bob Pass Waters Jr. Pork Chop will start on the pole. Brandon Thomas in the 8. 55. New Philadelphia, Ohio driver in the Gillen Body Shop EPS Packing, sponsored number 8. The 66 is Curtis Collins from Paris, Ohio. He'll start alongside, along with the 44, Brandon Donnelly. Donnelly from Barberton, Ohio, and the Nephews Painting UFO Lee's Famous Recipe, sponsored 44. The 55 is Kyler Bertram from Akron, Ohio, and the RPM Auto Sales, Joe's Auto, Tony Newman Roofing, sponsored 55. And making her first career start in the street stocks from Barberton, Ohio, and the RPM Motorsports Steve's Auto Service, sponsored number 10, is Katie Wood. The third Wood, the second daughter of Dennis Wood.
Again, it's a heat race.
Making her first start in the number 10. Getting ready to go green, Pork Chop and Curtis Collins. Green is in the air. Collins going to have a good start. Pork Chop pushes up a little bit. Here comes Kyler Bertram. He'll split the middle. Bertram going to go up to second. He's going to go to the outside of the Pork Chop in turn number 4. Brandon Thomas will lead lap number 1. Brandon Thomas, Kyler Bertram battle for that race lead. Bertram in the high lane. Thomas on the bottom. Good side-by-side battle for the race lead. A little bit of contact. Pork Chop continues to lead. Kyler Bertram still there in that outside lane. Thomas slips up just a little bit. Maintaining that race lead, rookie driver in that number 8, longtime crew chief and car chief, halfway home, 4 and 4 to go. Katie Wood up to the 3rd spot. Katie Wood, rookie driver, first start, up to 3rd. Curtis Collins 4th, and Brandon Donnelly. Brandon Thomas, Kyler Bertram. Brandon Thomas, what about his 3rd night of racing at Midvale Speedway? 2nd night, white flag in the air, looking for that first heat race win. Kyler Bertram looking to take it away. Tried the crossover move down the back straightaway. Kyler Bertram is there. Pork Chop gives him room. Off of turn number 4. The Pork Chop gets the win. Kyler Bertram finishes 2nd. Katie Wood with a great run to finish 3rd. Curtis Collins in 4th. Long-time car chief and crew chief for Gabe Pringle, for his brother Keith Thomas. Finally decided to go get himself a car and compete himself, not on iRacing, but for real life. From New Philadelphia, Ohio, in the Gillen Body Shop, EPS Packaging, Valley View Forestry, South Philly Pizza, Chillaxin and Waxin, sponsored number 8. Put your hands together for the pork chop, Brandon Thomas. So moving into the trophy stocks. The Canton Addiction trophy stocks. The 07 is Evan Wool. Starting on the outside, again pulling double duty is Nolan Caldwell. The 62S is Tyler Scott. The 61 is Chris Burdett. The number 3 is your fastest qualifier, Tabby Stuber. Last year's champion in this division. I misspoke. The champion can compete in this division. And the number 17 is Noah Kaufman. Getting ready to go green, 8-lap heat race for the trophy stocks. Laurel will have the race lead down the short back straightaway. Here comes Tyler Scott up the inside of Nolan Caldwell. He'll take over the second spot. Tabby Stuber looking for third. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go. Evan Worrell, Tyler Scott, Nolan Caldwell, and Tabby Stuber. White flag for Evan Worrell. Checkered flag for Evan Worrell. Tyler Scott will finish second. Nolan Caldwell by a nose at the line over Tabby Stuber. First in Ohio in the DNS Pressure Washing, My Water Doctor and Romar Performance Motorsports, sponsored number 07. Put your hands together for Evan Worrell. Trophy stocks in the number 4 tonight, making his first career start, Jonathan Thompson. In the Bucky Mowing Small Straws Acres 4. The number 12 is Tristan Keller from Minerva, Ohio. The number 2 is A.J. Andrews from Alliance. The 37X is Jacob Keller from Minerva, Ohio. The 3L is Justice Lenars from Midvale, Ohio. And the H&M Tire Virginia Restaurant, Virginia Lounge, sponsored number 3. And so, in the number 62 is Gavin Roop from Barnhill. In the Anywhere Tree Care Courthouse Barbershop, Lee's Famous Recipe, sponsored number 62, your point leader. Green flag is in the air. Jonathan Thompson in his first career start in the 4, looking like a veteran up front, continues to lead. The number 12 of Keller is in second. The 37 of Keller is in third. Then the 62 of Roop. Halfway home, 4 in, 4 to go for Thompson. Tristan Keller on the outside, gonna take the race lead. Tristan Keller, your new race leader in the 12. The 4 Thompson back to second. Jacob Keller right there in third. Gavin Roop in fourth. A lot of contact between Keller and Thompson. Keller going to battle back onto the racetrack through the grass. White flag in the air. Tristan Keller up front. Thompson and Jacob Keller battle for that second spot. Checkered flag for Tristan Keller. Jonathan Thompson. Jacob Keller finishes third, Gavin fifth. Heat race number 2 winner of the Canton Addiction Trophy Stocks. From Minerva, Ohio, put your hands together for Tristan Keller.
Lights are out.
So the 51 is Jordan Dennison from Sugar Creek on the outside. The 99 is Jordan Richards from Paris, Ohio. The 42 is Damian Andrews. The 46 is Timmy Long. And the 68 is Corbin Robinson. Final heat race before intermission. We're green. Dennison will have the race lead. Andrews up to second. A little bit of contact between Richards and Andrews. Andrews will get it back under control. Richards going to go up the racetrack. Problems for that 99 machine. Looks like some problems in the steering of that machine. The 42 of Andrews on the bottom. Here comes the 68 of Corbin Robinson. Robinson up to the second spot. A little bit of tap to Dennison, your race leader. Dennison still hanging on to that race lead. Robinson and Andrews battle for second. Dennison continuing to hang on. Now Andrews gets into him off of turn number 4. And caution on the speedway. .com. Dennison and Robinson getting ready to go back to green. Green flag in the air. Off turn number 4. Dennison and Andrews, and we're green. Andrews on the outside, Dennison on the bottom. Andrews will have the race lead into turn number 1. Nice move on the outside by Damian Andrews. And Timmy Long gets into the 51 of Dennison. Damian Andrews going to come in on the white flag from Jonathan Smith. White flag in the air, Damian Andrews, 1 lap to go. Jordan Dennison second, Timmy Long third. Final time into turn number 3, Damian Andrews will be your winner. Jordan Dennison second, Timmy finishes in third. Pulling to the line, your final heat race winner from Alliance, Ohio in the D&N Lawn Care. Sponsored number 42. Put your hands together for Damian Andrews. Feature. Getting lined up, Dan Bucky will start on the pole in the 44, the Sizzler. Blaze Bacon will start alongside. The 78P is Josh Peebles, the 00 of John Heidi, the 64 of Jamie Leslie, the 53 of Curtis Finlayson. The 36 is Rich Dunlap, the 47 is Don Rufner Jr. The 52 is Jeremy Salinger, the 79 is Phil Button Jr. The 007 is your fastest qualifier, DR3. The 45 is Timmy Kaup. The 82 is Ronald Button. The 5 is Tabby Stuber. The 69 is Nolan Caldwell. The 19 is Bryant McCoy. And the 85 is Jonathan Weber. 15-lap feature getting ready to go green for the Bucky Mowing Compacts. Week number 7, presented by the Quaker Digital Academy. Jonathan Smith, green flag in hand, and we're green. The Sizzler way up the racetrack problems, and we've got Tabby Stuber sideways in turn number 1. Caution on the speedway. And Bucky Mowing Comp ready to go green. Bucky and Peebles, green flag in the air. Josh Peebles going to smoke that left front tire. The 44 of Bucky with the race lead. A lot of smoke coming from the 85 of Weber in the back of the pack. Dan Bucky, your race leader. Josh Peebles second, 84. Or the 64, Jamie Leslie in third. Jonathan Weber going to get the black flag for something amiss on that right rear tire as he'll pull pit side. Tough break for Jonathan Weber. Oh, Dunlap almost getting into the wall. 3 wide into turn number 1. Dunlap on the high side, Button on the bottom, and Don Rufner the third up the middle. Peebles still trying to take over that race lead. Jamie Leslie in third, John Heidi fourth, Curtis Finlayson fifth. Here comes Jamie Leslie for second to the inside of Josh Peebles. Four wide. Oh my goodness. Problems. Jamie Leslie up the racetrack into Don Rufner Jr. Problems for Jamie Leslie. I believe he cut a right front tire and went. Getting ready to go green. 6 laps complete. What a restart by Peebles, but he didn't close the door, and Bucky gave him a shot up the racetrack. Dan Bucky, your race leader. Josh Peebles going to settle into that second spot. Good battle for third between DR3 and Heidi. Heidi looking to the low lane. DR3 looking to the high side. Peebles now going to stick back up in the outside lane. Dan Bucky continuing to lead. Heidi gets into Peebles. Now Peebles going to throw the block. Heidi down to the infield. That's going to open up the top for DR3. Here comes Don Rufner III on the outside. Guys throwing blocks on the racetrack. Opened up the top lane, and here comes your fastest qualifier up to second. Don Rufner III to the outside of Dan Bucky for the race lead. 5 laps to go. DR3 with a nose in front into turn number 3. He'll use the outside lane. He'll take the race lead. New race leader, DR3. Phil Bunton and Josh Peebles battle for that third spot behind Dan Bucky in second. Don Rufner III, your race leader. Use the outside lane. He starts on the pole. Green flag in the air. Dan Bucky got a good restart, but DR3 going to come out of turn number 2 with the race lead. DR3, Dan Bucky. Here comes Phil Bunton on the bottom. Green flag back in the air for DR3. White flag for DR3. Phil Bunton Jr. on the outside, final lap. Down the back straightaway, Bunton inching ahead into turn 3. Get your cameras ready off of turn number 4. Bunton going to slide up. Here comes DR3 at the line. Don Rufner III by inches over Phil Bunton Jr. Jeremy Salinger, 3rd. Timmy Kalp, 4th. Bryant McCoy in 5th. And pulling back into NAC Tuning Victory Lane in the animal racing. BP Photography, Peebles Racing, sponsored 007 by inches. Let's see, BP Photography got the photo finish, and we got it right. By inches, DR3. Your point leader, going to extend that point lead a little bit with being the fastest qualifier and winning the feature tonight. Here's your winner, DR3. Oil Company late models. Starting on the pole, the 77 is Bear Swartz. Alongside the 169 is Bobby DeVore the second. The 88 is Dennis Wood. The 25 is Chris Grubbs. Row number 3, the 0 is George Riddle. The 48 is the Mountain State Missile, Jonathan Ritter. Row number 4 is the 17 of Bob Snyder Jr., your fastest qualifier. The 16 of Jason Ripple. The 66 is John Sanquest Sr. The 10 is Mayo Spence. And the 69 is Bob the Animal Eichel. Getting ready to go green. Green flag is in the air. Bear Swartz out to the race lead. Here comes the 88 of Dennis Wood. 3 wide, Bobby DeVore on the outside, and George Riddle going to take over the 3rd spot. DeVore stuck in that high lane. Here comes Bob Snyder Jr. Snyder up to the 4th spot. Bear Swartz, your race leader. Jonathan Ritter going to get through. He'll move up to the 5th spot now as he'll get by the 69 of Bobby DeVore. Bear Swartz, your race leader. Bear Swartz up the racetrack. Problems for Bear Swartz. The 0 of George Riddle will take the race lead. The 17 of Bob Snyder Jr., the 48 of Jonathan Ritter, the 88 of Dennis Wood, your front 4. Bear Swartz, problems for that 77. He slid high and took the 88 of Wood with him. Tough break for Dennis Wood. George Riddle, your race leader. Bob Snyder Jr., Jonathan Ritter, Dennis Wood. 5 laps complete, 25 to go. Caution on the speedway. Jonathan Ritter, Dennis Wood in row 2. Green flag is in the air. Snyder will fight in that outside lane off of turn number 2. Riddle on the inside. Snyder on the high side. Off turn number 4. Riddle gonna poke his nose out in front. Snyder back up the racetrack. And George Riddle will have the race lead. Mayo Spence in the 10, moving up to the 5th spot around the 88 of Dennis Wood. Chris Grubbs up to 4th. Ritter, Snyder, and Riddle up front. halfway home. 15 laps in, 15 laps to go. Dennis Wood pulls off in the 88. Tough break for Dennis Wood. Bobby Animal Eichel pulls pit side in the 69. George Riddle continuing to lead. Snyder right in his tire tracks, and Ritter following right in Snyder's. 10 laps to go this time around for George Riddle, looking for that first feature win at Midvale Speedway. Laps to go for George Riddle. Been a number of years since he's went to victory lane on a late model here at Midvale Speedway. George Riddle looking for that first feature win in quite some time. The 16 of Jason Ripple pulls pit side. Snyder taking a peek. Doesn't have the power to get there. White flag this time for George Riddle. Final time down the back straightaway. In step the front three, nose to tail off of turn number 4. Your winner, George Riddle. Bob Snyder Jr., Jonathan Ritter, Chris Grubbs, and Mayo Spence, your top 5. Sponsored, number 0. Riddle Trucking, Seneca Performance. Thunder Kid in victory lane, getting ready to give George that trophy. He's got a geyser down here. That's all right. It's been a while. Here's your winner, George Riddle. Come on over here, buddy. You got, you want, and this thing was just, you had to make no mistakes with the 2 that you had behind you. Yep. You made 0 mistakes. Perfect run. Welcome back to Victory Lane, man. It's been a while.
Thank you, Chris. It's been very elusive, I've got to say. It's always something, but yeah, no, we're glad to be back here. I got to thank Brad Malkett because we just got that Malkett engine back in there yesterday, so it's got a couple more ponies than the other one. Got to thank my wife for putting up with this nonsense. I got to thank my man Larry Clay because he's talking me off a ledge every single week. I'm like, let's change all the tires and the shocks, and he's like, how about we just put a Packer in the left front? And it just always works out. So I got to thank Thad Rosenberry and Alex Rosenberry because this was Alex's old car. Without those guys, you know, I wouldn't have it here. So those guys are awesome. I got to thank Brian Short because he's a good guy, and he helped get the car set up a little bit over winter and figured out some things I would have never figured out. So I got to thank that guy. You know, I just got to thank John Chapman because he's the reason I'm here. He's just such a nice guy. It's enjoyable to come here every week and race for John. But yeah, we're having a good time now, finally.
I was going to say, you have had the bad luck bug has bit you for years down here, right? Yeah. And I told the guys up there, I'm like, I don't think I've seen George in Victory Lane. I know I haven't interviewed him. Yeah. You've just been snake bit here.
Yeah, it's been about 9 years since I've been in Victory Lane. But yeah, last time I won it was green. It was a Howe car. So that's how far it's gone. I doubt if there's any Howe cars left here. But no, we have a good time here. And John, like I say, he's very welcoming. But yeah, I just got to tell you. Just nice to be back in Victory Lane. I think Bob probably took it easy on me. He's probably tired of winning. That guy's so good. So, yeah, I was glad he was behind me. But, yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Maybe it was that pregame meal at Applebee's, right?
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to Neck Tuning Victory Lane. Your winner, George Riddle. Here's your Thunder Kid for giving you trophy for Victory Lane. Get in there. You want to get a picture with him? You stay in there and get row number 2, the 46 of Timmy Long. Corbin Robinson will start on the outside of row number 2. The number 4 is Jonathan Thompson making his first career feature start along with Timmy. Tristan Keller in the 12. A.J. Andrews in the number 2. Jacob Keller in the 37X will be on the outside of row number 4. Inside of row number 5, the 3L of Justice Lenars, the 07 of Evan Worrell. The 6 is Nolan Caldwell. The 62S is Tyler Scott. The 61 is Chris Burdett. The 3 is Tabby Stuber. The 62
respect each other, guys. It's 15 laps.
Is Gavin Roop. And the 17 of Noah Kaufman.
Some people are going to bring
15-lap feature on the medium small oval, getting ready to go green. Thunder Kid on the flag stand, getting ready to wave the green flag to Dennison and Andrews. Green flag is in the air for the trophy stocks. Dennison will have the race lead down the back straightaway. Andrews lock in step behind him. A little bit of contact between Timmy and the 68 of Corbin Robinson. Jacob Keller, Tristan Keller, both on the move. Up to third and fourth. Tristan around the outside of brother Jacob to take over. Third problems for Dennison. Dennison had some issues. He slowed way up. That allowed Tristan Keller to get around the outside. Now they'll battle for the race lead. Jordan Dennison trying to hang on. Tristan Keller on the outside into the field section. He's going to shove him way high. Damian Andrews is going to try the bottom. He's going to get into Dennison. A little bit of contact between those two. Going to allow Tristan Keller to go around and take over the race lead. And now contact from Jacob Keller. Spins the 51 of Dennison. They're all bottlenecked, but everybody continues on. Caution on the speedway. Keller on the front row. They'll come to green. Dennison and Keller. Green flag is in the air. Keller going to sweep around the outside. He's going to have the race lead. Dennison going to drop back into that second spot. And caution in turn number 1. Getting ready to go back to green. 3 laps complete. Green flag's in the air. Jordan Dennison will have the race lead into the infield section. Tristan Keller battling on the high side. Damian Andrews still there in that third spot, battling with Evan Worrell. Tristan Keller to the race lead. Evan Worrell now to the outside of Jordan Dennison for the second spot. Worrell won the fast heat in this division, and now he's going to get turned by the 51 of Dennison, and hopefully nobody hits him. Nice job of Evan Worrell. 5 laps complete. 10 to go. Green flag back in the air for the trophy stocks. Evan Worrell with the power move on the outside. He'll take the race lead. Evan Worrell and Tyler Scott up to the second spot. Tyler Scott trying to get around the 07 of Worrell. Here comes the 61 of Burdett. Burdett going to get around Tristan Keller. Corbin Robinson looking for 4th as he'll get around Keller as well. Evan Worrell in the 07 got the 62S all over him. Caution on the speedway. Getting ready to go green. 5 laps to go. Worrell and Scott. Side by side up front between Worrell and Scott. Into the infield section. Worrell, Scott, contact. Good battle between the still battling into the infield section. More contact. Worrell spins. Scott together. Getting ready to go green. Tyler Scott, Chris Burdett, green flag in the air. Burdett around the outside, Scott up the middle. Little bit of contact, Burdett trying to fight that outside lane, 2 laps to go. Burdett trying to get a run on Tyler Scott for the win. White flag in the air for Tyler Scott. Justice Lenars a good run up to the 3rd spot. Corbin Robinson 4th. Tabby Stuber 5th. Final time down the back straightaway. Into the final corner. Off of turn number 4, your winner, Tyler Scott. Chris Burdett, Justice Lenars, Corbin Robinson, Tabby Stuber, your top 5. Organizers, sales and service sponsor number 22S. Pulling into victory lane once again, getting the helmet off, and getting ready to climb out. Here's your winner, Tyler Scott. So Tyler, good run up front. You had that lane on Evan there. You guys put on a pretty good show up there. And you knew it's just so tight racing, right? It just is.
Absolutely, it's tight, especially coming into that turn. I was in there, I think, twice. I backed out of it. 3rd time I wasn't backing out, so.
And just talk about, the restart with you and Burdett. Good restart there as well.
Oh, absolutely. For his first restart, he did absolutely phenomenal, so can't ask for a better race.
So talk about, this division, how you get started in it, all those sort of things. Tell somebody up there, hey, I am, because you're one of the ambassadors for this division. You guys helped start this thing, you and your dad and your brother. Talk about how fun this is to drive, and a kid that's 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, or somebody that's 40 that's never been in a race car can get in one of these and try it out.
It's an absolute blast. The only reason I'm in this one, it's Caden's back up. Dad says no point letting it sit, so let's run it. It's an absolute blast.
Absolutely. Who else you want to thank on the 62 tonight?
Lee's Famous Recipe, Last Stop Tackle, Colonizers, Garrett and Sons, Dad, Uncle Brant. I think that's about it on that one.
You keep turning away from the camera, so just so you know.
Feasters Mobile Home Services, too.
Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to Neck Tuning Victory Lane.
Thanks.
Your winner, Tyler Scott. Feature. Starting on the pole, the X09 is Wes Ennis. On the outside, the 54 Big Mac, Doug McMillan. The 24 is Nick Grubbs. The 28 is Brandon France. In row number 3, the 57 of Braden Swaney. The 55, the Rooster Brandon Bailey. The 09 of Philip Cox. The 38 of Kevin McClintock. The 49 is Bob Page in your fastest qualifier. The 66 is Lewis McGrath. The 75 is Bobby DeVore the second. The 69 is Bob Snyder Jr. The 007 of DR3. The 13 of Kenny Feaster Jr. The 71 of Vanessa McCreary. The 45 is Cody Stahl. And the 15, last week's feature winner, Kyle Finlayson. Field will get the one to go signal this time from Chief Starter Terry Coletti. And the field will be in the hands of Wes Ennis and Big Mac Doug McMillan. First time winner last week, Wes Ennis on the pole looking for his first. Green flag in the air. Wes Ennis will have the race lead. Nick Grubbs, will try to get to the inside of Doug McMillan for the second spot. McMillan, Grubbs way up the racetrack, along with the 28 of France. Braden Swaney going to stick his nose in there underneath Doug McMillan as Nick Grubbs moves up to the second spot. Giving a couple shots to the X09 of Wes Ennis. Braden Swaney going to take over that third spot. Doug McMillan still battling in that high lane. Philip Cox underneath the 54 of McMillan. Wes Ennis, your race leader. Now Philip Cox to the inside of Braden Swaney. Philip Cox up to third. Here comes Bob Page, and he's going to get into the back of Braden Swaney, and the 57 spins to the infield. Laps complete. Nick Grubbs with a good run off of turn number 2. Really be able to get to the inside. He's got it. He closes the door. Nick Grubbs, your race leader. Philip Cox finds a hole behind Wes Ennis in front of Braden Swaney. Swaney and Bailey make contact. And here comes Kevin McClintock in the outside lane. He's looking to the outside of Swaney for the 5th spot. Caution on the speedway, speeding ticket for the 24 of Nick Grubbs. Doug McMillan. A lot of veterans up there getting ready to go back to green. Wes Ennis going to have the race lead. Here comes the Rooster. Bailey to the inside of Philip Cox. Cox up the racetrack. McClintock going to get there. Kevin McClintock going to get the door closed by Philip Cox off of turn number 2. Brandon Bailey looking to the outside of Wes Ennis for the race lead. Wes Ennis, Brandon Bailey. Bailey inching around the outside. Doug McMillan pulling pit side. Wes Ennis hanging on to the race lead. Brandon Bailey still on the outside. Bailey inching in front, inching in front. New race leader, Brandon Bailey. And the Rooster is clear to the race lead. Here comes Kevin McClintock. McClintock will go to the outside lane, and caution on the speedway. Caution on the speedway. Getting ready to go green. Rooster and Wes Ennis. Through turn number 2, Rooster is clear. Philip Cox, Wes Ennis battle for that 2nd spot. McClintock and Swaney side by side behind them. Brandon Bailey, Philip Cox, Wes Ennis, Braden Swaney, and now Bob Page. 5 laps to go for Brandon Bailey. Caution on the speedway, caution. Brandon Bailey, Philip Cox, green flag in the air. White flag for Rooster. Bob Page going to get underneath the 66 of Lewis McGrath. He's going to move up into that 5th spot, or keep that 5th spot. Twin checkers for Brandon Bailey. Philip Cox 2nd. Braden Sweeney 3rd. Wes Ennis 4th, and Bob Page in 5th. Number 55. Silo Car Wash. Here's your winner, the Rooster. Man, you can't even almost get out of that thing anymore. You're just too damn tall.
I know, it's getting pretty tight for sure.
So, finally getting back into victory lane, man, you had to make the outside pass. We know the outside lane hasn't been there, but continuously working the track crews trying to get this thing better. Was it better for you?
It's getting there. I mean, I wish we had some tires. I'm about 5 weeks on tires right now. They're getting pretty bad. But, yeah, the car was halfway decent tonight. We struggled all day in practice in the heat race. But, yeah, we finally glad to get this one. It felt good to get this one for sure. But hats off to the crew to help out. More Vats All Detailing for coming along this year. Vaughn's Pub, and, of course, Silo Car Wash.
So talk to me about this whole tire deal, right? We know that there's a rubber shortage or shortage of workers or whatever. We're still waiting on a delivery of tires. Do you got some in spare, or is everybody playing chess with this right now?
Well, this is one set I got, and I got one set at home. That's all I got. And I mean, it's helping some guys, but it's hurting the front runners for sure. Because I mean, we need tires for sure. But hopefully we get some soon, and we'll go from there. But we'll keep battling up front, and come back next week.
Do you think about points early in the year? I mean, you're padding that a little bit tonight. You were the leader coming in. Do you think about it, or no, I just go race?
I mean, I think about it a little bit. I mean, Kevin, the second, I always want to race him good and stuff, and I want to get him up front with me so we can battle, put on a good show for you guys. But, yeah, I think about it a little bit, but I'd rather have the feature wins.
Congratulations, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Back in victory lane, the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. Tonight, on week number 7, brought to you by the Quaker Digital Academy. Again, make sure you check out QDA at QDA.com. Also, stop down to the Newtown Mall and visit their office down there. Starting on the pole, Dylan Litton alongside Trevor King in the 7. Scott Wendling in the 5. The 39 is Dan Sharpless. The 80 is Candy Bunton. The 22 is Braden Maurer. The 0 is Justin Reniker. The 23 is Zach Marshall. And the 23 Outback is Brenton Irwin. 12-lap final feature for the compacts. And the street stocks will Green, Dylan Litton, Trevor King, Scott Wendling, and Dan Sharpless, your front four. Green flag, 12-lap feature. Trevor King up the racetrack. They're going to split Dylan Litton 3 wide into turn number 1. Litton gets pinballed up onto the road, and here comes the 22 of Braden Maurer. Maurer up to that second spot behind Scott Wendling. Wendling, your race leader. Trevor King almost into the wall, turn number 4. Dan Sharpless going to be in that third spot, running fourth. Candy Button, fifth. Brenton Irwin. And now here comes Maurer for the race lead. He's on the outside. Braden Maurer going to sweep around the power move on the outside, and he'll lead at the line. Scott Wendling drops back into that second spot. Good move by Braden Maurer, as he will be up front. Coming up through the field is Justin Renneker, trying to get around Scott Wendling for the second spot. Halfway home, 6 in, 6 to go. Renneker now looking for the race lead to the inside of Maurer. Justin Renneker to the front. New race leader, Justin Renneker in the 0. Maurer back to second. Wendling third. Candy Bunton fourth. Brenton Irwin fifth. Final lap for Justin Renneker, Braden Maurer, Scott Wendling, your top 3. Off of turn number 4, subbing for Alan Clark tonight, your winner, Justin Renneker. Maurer will finish second, Wendling third, Candy Button fourth, Brenton Irwin in fifth. Tuning victory lane once again. Put your hands together for Justin Renneker. So I think I'm just going to call you a super sub. You don't even have your own car anymore. You just get into everybody else's and win.
Yeah, it works out better that way.
It works out better because you don't have to worry about it. You just get in and drive.
Yep.
So talk about this one. You had to come from the back to the front, and once you got this thing up there, man, you were making moves. High side, low side, didn't matter. This car stuck pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't so good at the beginning of the day, but we got it figured out.
So you want to thank, obviously, Delmer for not being here.
Delmer for sure. Her for letting me drive it. I don't know, all of us sponsors.
All right, congratulations, buddy. The man, a few words.
Yep, thank you.
Your winner, Justin Renneker. Alongside the 22 is Kylie Wood. The 64 is Ian Porco. The 7 is Gabe Pringle. The 54 is Chase Berkey. The 3 is Kyle Grove. The 75 is Bob Passwater Sr. The 88-year fastest qualifier, Dennis Wood. Last week's feature winner, the 58, is Zach Koger. The 28 is Josh Feaster. The 74 is Bob Passwaters Jr. The 55 is Kyler Bertram. The 66 is Curtis Collins. The 8 is Pork Chop Brandon Thomas. The 10 is Katie Wood. And the 44 is Brandon Donnelly. Was a rookie last year. Gabe Pringle been shut out of victory lane for quite some time. Getting ready to go back to green. Jason Gruhl will have the race lead off of turn number 2. Kylie Wood dropping into that second spot. Ian Porco third. Gabe Pringle fourth. Kyle Grove looking to the outside of Gabe Pringle for the fourth spot. Grove going to take over that fourth spot. He's going to move up to the outside of Porco for third. Kyle Grove on the move in the outside lane. Dennis Woods on the move as well. He's in the 88, your fastest qualifier. He's to the outside of Pringle for a top 5 spot. Jason Gruhl continues to lead. Kylie Wood in second. Ian Porco third. Kyle Grove fourth. Kylie Wood to the bottom of the 99. Gruhl closes the door. Here comes Grove on the outside. He'll get by the 64 Porco. Now alongside the 22 of Wood. Kyle Grove on the move on the outside. Grove to the outside of Jason Gruhl for the race lead. Gruhl sideways. Gonna get into Wood, get into Grove. Kylie Wood gonna scoot through. She's gonna have the race lead. Kylie Wood, Kyle Grove battle for the race lead. Jason Gruhl back to third. Porco and Wood battle for fourth. Then Berkey, Passwaters, Pringle, and Koger. Just past the halfway mark. 12 laps complete this time. Kylie Wood, Kyle Gruhl battling for the race lead. Kylie Wood down the back straightaway. Into turn number 3. Kyle Grove on the outside. Both of these two looking for their second feature wins of the year. Kylie Wood going to clear the 3 of Grove. Grove will settle back in behind. 5 laps to go this time around. Kylie Wood Dad Dennis said, hey, I'm not done yet. Dennis Wood to the outside of Kyle Grove for the second spot. Kylie trying to hang on for her second career feature win up front. Wood, Grove, Wood, 3 to go. Jason Gruhl still there in that 4 spot with Ian Porco. A nice top 5 run by those two. Kylie Wood doing a whale of a job out front in the 22. Trying to hold off her dad in the 88. Kyle Grove in the 3. White flag in the air for Kylie Wood. Off of turn 2, final time she's going to throw the block to her dad into turn 3. Career feature win number 2, Kylie Wood. Kyle Grove finishes second, Dennis Wood third, Jason Gruhl fourth, Ian Porco in fifth. Automotive Electric, Hammer Construction sponsored, number 22, UFO, getting ready to climb out. Had to hold off Dad, had to hold off Kyle Grove. She's going to climb out for career feature win number 2, Kylie Wood.
He said he'd have passed her if he could have.
I don't think you could have. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think the kid had you beat tonight.
Up there, I couldn't drive it. I was driving in on her.
I think she had you beat tonight. All right, so you said you were mad at me a couple weeks ago because I wasn't here to call your first career feature win. I talked you up that one, I promise you.
Yeah, I guess the second one's all right. I'll forgive you.
Well, that's good. So I'll tell you what. What a battle between you and Kyle and your dad, and then, you know, Jason Gruhl was up there. You guys were battling hard, and then he slipped up coming through the corner and got into Grove, and you just said, oh, okay, I'll take the bottom, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got to try and avoid it, and it worked out, I guess.
Well, you know what? You've had a lot of bad luck the last couple of years. Seems like maybe that ball's bouncing your way a little bit more in 2021.
Yeah, a little bit.
So who you want to thank on this 22 tonight? Besides, I mean, you got the one-ups on this guy right now. So he keeps standing over here smiling, but, you know, you can just stand proud now.
Always won this year, Sandusky. I got 2 wins here yet.
I know, I like it. So who you want to thank?
Automotive Electric, SAS Exhaust, Lee's Famous Chicken, whatever. UFO Fabrication, and I want to thank Bug and Robbie and Dad and Mom. They all work on it all week while I work and do other things. So if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be out here.
And how does it feel to have 3 family members? Your sister had a good run, too, in that 10 car.
Yeah, I hope she beats me one day.
There you go. Congratulations. Welcome back to Neck Tuning Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Your winner, Kylie Wood.
want to check out those pictures.
I knew it was close, so I was like, oh no.
That's a great picture.
And pulling back into that swing victory lane in the animal race 6. DB Photography, Eagle Race 6. Sponsored, 017. By inches. Let's see, DB Photography got the photo finish, and we got it right. By inches, DR3. Your point leader, going to extend that point lead a little bit with being the fastest qualifier, winning the feature tonight. Here's your winner, DR3. And he does the bow. Nice. I know that's the new patent move, right?
Yeah, I got to keep them happy over in the pit.
All right, so talk to me about it, man. You had your work cut out for you, but tell you what, how you got to the lead, it looked like guys were trying to protect the bottom and block to the inside, and the top lane just opened right up for you.
Yeah, the outside wasn't that good in the heat race, so I was real scared about it. You know, that's pretty good, but it's protect the bottom. So I went there and just thinking I go through there, and just, you know, you put it back there, brother. So I was like, oh, okay. That's not fun.
Right, I'm in, right? It process of elimination, as long as you're in front, everything else can go on behind you, it don't matter, right?
Yeah, I just thought I was out there and not sure about that.
And then to finish, Bill Martin started to kind of beat you into turn 3. He had half the car length lead or so on you. You battled back off beforehand. Did you think you had him, or was you like, man, I don't know?
Yeah, I can come out of speed there. I'm like, that's pretty hard. So I do it for turn 3, and it's tough. I just never looked at it.
Congratulations, man. You won that.
Thanks. I want to thank my wife, my mom, my dad, Living Over Care, Dad and Bill Cages, Eleanor Dixon, Andrew Stringford, Danny Racing, Lucy Carter, Steve Racing, and your wife, man.
And baby, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
2-0. Riddle Trucking, Seneca Performance. Thunder Kid in victory lane, getting ready to give George that trophy. He's got a geyser down here. That's all right. It's been a while. Here's your winner, George Riddle. Come on over here, buddy. You got, you're spewing a little bit, brother. A little warm. So, you get up front, and this thing was just, you had to make no mistakes with the two that you had behind you. You made 0 mistakes. Perfect run. Welcome back to victory lane. It's been a while.
Thank you, Chris. It's been very elusive, I've got to say. It's always something, but yeah, no, we're glad to be back here. I got to thank Brad Malkin because we just got that Malkin engine back in there yesterday, so it's got a couple more ponies than the other one. Got to thank my wife for putting up with this nonsense. Got to thank my man Larry Clay because he's talking me off the ledge every single week. I'm like, let's change all the tires and shocks, and he's like, how about we just put a packer in the left front? And it just always works out. So I got to thank Dan Rosenberry and Alex Rosenberry because this was Alex's old car. Without those guys, you know, I wouldn't have it here. So those guys are awesome. I got to thank Brian Short because he's a good guy. He helped get the car set up a little bit over winter and figured out some things I would have never figured out. So got to thank that guy. You know, I just got to thank John Chapman because he's the reason I'm here. He's just such a nice guy. It's enjoyable to come here every week and race for John. Yeah, we're having a good time now.
I was going to say, you have had the bad luck bug. It's been you for years down there, right? And I told the guys up there, I'm like, I don't think I've seen George Victory Lane. I know I haven't interviewed him. Yeah. You've just been staked in here.
Yeah, it's been about 9 years since I've been in Victory Lane. That car was green. But yeah, last time I won it was green. It was a Howe car. So that's how far it's gone. I doubt there's any Howe cars left here. But no, we have a good time here. And John, like I said, he's very welcome. But yeah, I just got to tell you. Just nice to be back in Victory Lane. I think Bob probably couldn't keep going. He's probably tired of winning, I guess. So, yeah, I'm glad he was behind me. But, yeah, thanks, Chris.
Congratulations. Maybe it was that free meal at Applebee's, right?
That's probably what it was.
Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to Victory Lane. You're the winner, George Riddle. Here's your Thunder Kid. Gathered room in the 17 on Noah Process. 15 lap feature on the weekend ball over, getting ready to go green. Thunder Kid on the 5-10, getting ready to lead the green flag. Jersey color will be thrown on the outside. With me. 40-foot meters, go 7.7. famous recipe. One, sales and service sponsor number 22S. Going into victory lane once again, taking the helmet off. And considering the timeout. Here's your winner, Tyler Scott. So Tyler, good run up front. You had that lane on Evan there. You guys put on a pretty good show up there. And then you do, it's just so tight racing, right? It just is. And you just talked about, the restart with you and Burnett. Good restart there as well.
Oh, absolutely. So his first restart, we have another race.
So talk about, this division, how you get started in it, all those sort of things. Tell us about the other, hey, I am, because you're one of the ambassadors for this division. You guys helped start this thing, you and your dad, your brother. Talk about how fun this is to drive a kid that's 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, or somebody that's 40 that's never been in a race car. You get him one of these and try it out.
This guy's too flat, what is on this one? It's getting back up and then that decision.
Absolutely. Who else you want to thank in the 62 tonight? You keep turning away from the camera, so just so you know. Congratulations, buddy. Welcome back to that junior victory lane. Your winner, Tyler Scott. Where's my footer kit? All right, there we go. Come on down here, just stay up here so he pulls around like that. Number 55, Style Car Wash. Getting the belts undone and getting ready to climb out. Finally back in the victory lane for Brandon Bailey, and here he is. Here's your winner, the Rooster! Yeah, you can't even almost get out of that thing anymore. You're just too damn tall.
I know, it's getting tight for sure.
So, finally getting back in the victory lane, then you had to make the outside pass. We know the outside lane hasn't been there, but continuously working, the track crew is trying to get this thing better. Was it better for you?
It's getting there. I mean, I wish we had some tires. I'm about 4 weeks, 5 weeks on tires right now. They're getting pretty bad. But yeah, the car was halfway decent tonight. We struggled all day, practiced the heat race on. But yeah, it was fun. Glad to get this one. It felt good to get this one for sure. But hats off to the crew to help out. More hats off detailing coming along this year. Cars Club and of course our car wash.
So talk to me about this whole tire deal, right? We know that there's a rubber shortage or shortage of workers or whatever. We're still waiting on the delivery of tires. Do you got some in spare? Or is everybody playing chess with this right now?
Well, this is one set I got, and I got one set at home. That's all I got. I mean, it's helping some guys, but certainly the front runners for sure, because we need tires for sure. But hopefully we'll get some soon, and we'll go from there. But we'll keep battling up front and come back next week.
Do you think about points early in the year? I mean, you're padding that a little bit tonight. You were the leader coming in. Do you think about it, or no, I just go racing?
I mean, I think about it a little bit. I mean, Kevin second, I always want to race him good and stuff. And I want to get him up front with me so we can battle, put on a good show for you guys. But yeah, I think about it a little bit, but I don't have the season points.
Congratulations, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Back in victory lane, the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. In the ACDC Renegade Racing sponsored number 0. And Miller Trucking, Mid-Vid Racing Videos, Steve Daughters. Sponsors on the 0. Getting ready to climb out. In that swing, Mr. Ready once again put your hands together for Justin America. So I think I'm just going to call you the super stuff. You don't even have your own car anymore. You just get into everybody else's and win. Yeah, that's not better. It works out better because you don't have to worry about it. You just get in and drive. Yeah. So talking about this one, you had to come from the back to the front. And once you got this thing up there, man, you were making moves. High side, low side, didn't matter. This car's stuck pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't so good at the beginning of it, but we got it figured out.
So you want to thank, obviously, Delmer for not being here.
Down for sure. I don't know all the sponsors.
All right, congratulations, buddy. The man, a few words. You're winner, Justin Ricker.
Come on, bud. back you up.
Automotive Electric, Hammer Construction, Officer, number 22. UFO,
Wow.
getting ready to come out. Have to hold off, Dad. Have to hold off Dino Girl. She's going to climb out for career feature win number 2. Hollywood!
He said he'd have passed her if he could have.
I don't think he could have. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think you should have your beat tonight.
off up there. I could drive it. I was just driving in on her.
I think she had your beat tonight. All right, so you said you were mad at me a couple weeks ago because I wasn't here to call your first career feature win. I talked you up that one. I promise you.
Yeah, I guess it's second already. I'll forgive you.
Well, that's good. So I'll tell you what. What a battle between you and Kyle and your dad, and then, you know, Jason Gruhl was up there. You guys were battling hard, and then he slipped up coming through the corner and got in the groove, and you just said, oh, okay, I'll take the bottom, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to put it in the worst out, I guess.
Well, you know what? You've had a lot of bad luck the last couple of years. Seems like maybe that ball's bouncing your way a little bit more in 2021.
Yeah.
So who do you want to thank on this 22 tonight? Besides, I mean, you got the warm-ups on this guy right now. So he keeps standing over here smiling, but, you know, you can just stand proud now.
Always want this year is get us, but I have 2 minutes to do it.
No, I like it. So who do you want to thank?
I'm really lucky, just as a dog. He's maybe a chicken or whatever. UFO fabrication, and I'm the big bud and mom and dad and mom, they all work on it all week, work and do other things, so it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be out there.
And how does it feel to have 3 family members? Your sister had a good run too in that 10 car.
Yeah, I hope she meets me one day.
There you go. Congratulations. Welcome back to Next Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Your winner, Chocolate Wood.